Dajahao, my name is Garrick, and welcome back to Taiwan Lao Wai. It is officially the start of our Sun Moon Lake adventure, and I am very excited, let me tell ya. But first, let's take a check. If you see this brilliantly yellow building behind me, this is the King Hotel at Sun Moon Lake, and this is where we are staying for today. Remember, the plan is we're gonna bounce around a lot, so tomorrow we're checking out of there and we're taking a bike ride down, but for now, this is where we're shacking up. So we are on the north side of the lake right now. This is the Shuishe village area, at least I believe that's what it's called. Might be a township or something, I'll need to look up the details. Point is, this is the more tourist-friendly side of the island. This is where the bus from Taichung drops you off. This is where they got all the hotels. They got the shops, the 7-Elevens, all that good stuff. Now, the hotel does not let us check in until 3, and it's basically noon right now, so we got a few hours to kill. And I can't think of a better way to kill them than getting our first look at Sun Moon Lake itself. We caught glimpses of it coming in, but I think we need to see this thing in all its full glory. Oh my god. God, this is gorgeous. And it looks like there are ways to get down even closer, so let's see if we can find some of those routes as well. Alright, that's what we're talking about. Whew, look at this view! So this is Shuishe Pier, which I think will give us the best view of the lake in its entirety on the north side, as you can probably tell. As you can also tell, there are ferry services. You can, go out into the lake on little boats like this. We are not going to do that quite yet. We're going to save that for another day, I think when we're down south instead. We might do it, we'll see. I'm trying not to have too strict an itinerary for this trip. I feel like Sun Moon Lake is a place you really gotta wander at your own pace and explore, you know? So, trying to live with that ethos a little bit. Anyways, I'm pretty sure Meihe Park is right up this cute little staircase here. So we're gonna go check out some of that vegetation as well, as we continue enjoying this spectacular view. My god. So if you look south over there at that cluster of buildings, I am pretty sure that is the southern residential area that we are going to bike our way towards tomorrow. It does look pretty small from over here, but then again, it is mostly wilderness around us, so not too surprising. Be darned, it looks like this church is still in service, like it's still used as a place of worship. We're gonna be very quiet so we don't disturb them. Looks like there's a path that takes us around the back. Let's see where it leads. Like I said, we have no plan right now. We're just wandering and seeing where our feet take us. Wow, look at that view. territory. So it looks like this little part of the north edge is all about the big villas up the mountain next to the lake. We did not get a big villa. Our hotel is much more of a budget option, but I'm sure it'll still treat us well. Well, it's not entirely blocking the way. Screw it. Let's see where it goes. Word to the wise, do not take these stairs shortly after it's been raining, because it's all wet and slippery and no good. No wonder that traffic cone was there. These are some steep paths to walk when they're slippery. Not gonna lie, feels good being back on solid ground. Well, believe it or not, I'm starting to get a little bit peckish. Turns out just a bit of train station sushi for breakfast is not enough to keep the soul flowing forever. So we're just gonna take a quick loop around this little bulge of a thing. Seems like there's some sort of restaurant according to the sign, so we'll run into that, we'll have lunch, we'll loop our way back around, and then we'll check out the residential area in a bit more detail. And who knows, maybe we'll have time for a ferry ride after that. Cool? Cool. Let's enjoy the sights. God, something about that fog on the other side of the lake there, it really just completes this view, doesn't it? It makes it like 10 times more gorgeous. Well, looks like we found the ideal fishing spot, didn't we? So keep that in mind. If you're coming to Sun Moon Lake to fish, you want to find Eula Pavilion, because you got all this open space to just let your line go. We are passing a lot of stairs that take us up to what appears to be the restaurant up there. But I want to do a bit of a bigger circle first around this whole little blob. Don't worry, we will take on that restaurant soon. I just want to make sure we got the whole berth of the territory, you know? I'm a sightseer. What do you want from me? that a student group over there? It's a pretty good time for field trips, all things considered. Alright, so we've basically made our way to the end of this little bulge where it connects back to the main Shuishe area. Man, we're not even checked into the hotel yet, and I'm already getting my steps in. That's a great sign. Now I think it's time to get some lunch, and I checked out that restaurant a little closer on the Google Maps. It looks pretty darn fancy. Like, it's definitely more of an indulgent dinner sort of restaurant than a quick and dirty lunch. And I think it's only fair, considering this is our first time at Sun Moon Lake, that we sample some of the more local cuisine first, you know, some of the bit more down-to-earth stuff. Luckily, there are plenty of restaurants that allow that, so we're gonna head back into the main drag and pick one that looks tasty. Well, as a matter of fact, here's one right now. This is Tiao Restaurant, and in case you can tell, we are right across from that church I showed off at the beginning of that little hike, so very convenient location. Maybe a cafe isn't the most authentic place we could start out, but it does look tasty, and I think we're gonna be served very well here. Ooh, that came out super fast. Alright, so we got the braised chicken leg set meal. This is braised in tea. Comes with some barley tea and a miso soup for free. Figure might as well keep things a little traditional while we're here, you know? First, let's give this miso soup a try. Very pronounced seaweed flavor in there, but I do not dislike it. We are right by a massive lake, so things are probably gonna be pretty briny and pretty seafoody forward. Except the chicken. That's probably gonna taste like chicken. Ooh, okay, this thing is tender. I barely even had to use a knife. The fork just, like, pulled it apart super easily. That's almost certainly a good sign. Let's find out. Some darn good chicken. Still moist, still tender. The flavor profile almost reminds me of like a soy sauce braised egg that you'd get, but you know, very mild. It's got sort of sweet, salty savoriness to it, more than the bitterness of tea, I would say. It's very mild, and thus it stays very refreshing and lets the chicken come forward. That's darn good. Comes with some sides as well, so let's try these beans and peas. Those are beans and peas, all right. There's a nice little kick of something salty in them. I can't quite place it. That's very satisfying. We've also got the mixed tofu and seaweed shreds that I've seen at a few places before. And this is really meant to be refreshing. It's like sort of pickly and briny and sort of hits you a little with the acid. Not too intense, but enough to sort of wake your palate up if it needs it, which is nice. Overall, very darn solid lunch right here. It's a little pricey at $3.60 NTD, but I imagine you're not going to get much out of the tourist price range at a place like Sun Moon Lake. But besides, it's very good, and I think I'm going to come away from this rather large plate of food very satisfied. Alright, you'll have to forgive me. I'm being bad. I got mozzarella sticks too. Look, this restaurant has Taiwanese and American options. I figure I should at least sample them both. These things feel pretty heavy. I think that's a good sign. They're decent. Definitely not what I would come to this place for, but I don't dislike them. Tao actually does have a pretty diverse selection of American diner options. They have a whole waffle section on their menu. So if you're in the mood to mix and match a little, I think this will be a pretty good place for you. 80 NTD for the mozzarella sticks, by the way, in case you were wondering. Wish it came with marinara sauce instead of ketchup. That's gonna be it for this video. Still got quite a bit of time to kill before the hotel will let us in. Been a very productive early afternoon and morning, I gotta say. Looks like we'll have time for a little ferry ride after all. Hey! Once again, thank you so much for joining me at Taiwan Lao Wai. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell, share with your friends, all that good stuff. And as always, I'll see you next time. 再见.